Hello once again, grade 11 students. Welcome back to another tutorial. In today's lesson, we're going to learn about setting new levels in our game. We're going to keep it simple for now. I'm going to leave it as an option if you want to try and expand on this functionality. But basically, here's where we're beginning today. Before we actually dive into me testing out the game, I'm going to change a couple things. Note really quick, this music that plays, just so I can speak over it, I'm actually going to turn off the soundtrack playing just by commenting it out for now. So when I run it, if Greenfoot wants to load here, I don't hear the music. And I'm also going to change the damage of my laser to be 100. And I'm also going to set my reload timer for my laser to 0 so that I can play my game a little bit faster. So I've kind of turned off the reload timer, it made the damage higher, so I can just test things out of my game much more easily than actually playing through. So really easy difficulty, but I want to test some things out. So I want to see what happens right now when I destroy all the asteroids in my world. And right now, I have nothing in particular happening. My game just kind of continues going. Maybe in yours you said Greenfoot stop, and it stops the program altogether. But this isn't great gameplay. I mean, I still have a ship, I still have lives. Haven't I earned the right to continue playing? I think so. So I want to add in the functionality to my game to be able to create a new level so I can continue playing, and one that also keeps track of my health and my score, and whatever else is my status of my ship, so that I feel like the progression is actually accurate and fair in my game. To be able to do this, we are going to head to our galaxy, our main world class, and we're going to be shifting around some information in here. I'm actually going to remove this comment from my world right now, and same with this prepare stuff. Here is the strategy we can use to do so. Constructors are wonderful tools. We're actually allowed to have as many constructors as we want for a given object, as long as the constructors do different things. So I'm going to create a second constructor here. Now remember, constructor, public, and then the name of the class. So this constructor is listed properly. However, right now, it says constructor galaxy is already defined in class galaxy. I can't have an identical constructor. This constructor needs to run a little bit differently. So I need for it to accept some pre-parameters. Here's how I'm thinking this through. This first constructor sets up initial level, or maybe I think of this as level 1. My second constructor sets up all subsequent levels, levels 2 and beyond. This is the constructor I'm going to want to run when I start the next level. Basically, once I've killed all the asteroids and I want to create a new level, this constructor will be run. And here's what I need to think about in the creation of this new level. What I'm doing and when I'm preparing my first level, as I'm creating my hero, notice I'm saying new hero. I'm creating it for the first time. New health bar, creating it for the first time. New scoreboard, creating it for the first time. When I'm creating a new level, I don't want a new hero or a new health bar or a new scoreboard. I want all that information to be remembered and sent to that level to be processed further. Otherwise, it's going to feel like the game just kind of resets each time. I want it to feel like there's continuity between levels. So I'm going to have to adjust the way that I define some of my information in this Galaxy class to be able to pull that off. All right, let's take this step by step. The first thing I need to do is I need to make the class aware of my hero and my health bar and my scoreboard. It's already aware of the scoreboard. I had to do that for my get scoreboard getter in the first place, but I'm going to add this similar functionality for our hero and also for my health bar. I'm simply just making the whole class aware of these variables in general. And now here's the thing with that. Now that I've made it aware of it, I don't have to redeclare its existence. I just define it down here. Same with the health bar. I don't redeclare its existence. I just define it down here like I did with the scoreboard. Notice I don't say scoreboard here because I've already set it up previously. So now I've extended the awareness to the whole class rather than just in the prepare method. So now I'm going to be able to work with these things in a bit more of a general way within this class, which is exactly what it is that we want to have happen. Now here's the next thing I need to be aware of. I don't want a new hero to be created each time I make a new level. I only want it to be created the first time this runs. In my first initial constructor, I want the new hero to be created. The same thing applies to my health bar. The same thing applies to my scoreboard. The new versions of them are only created the first time through. Every time after that, I want that information to be imported from the previous world. That's where this constructor comes in. Here's what I'm going to set up this constructor as including. It's going to accept a hero object. I'm going to call that H. A scoreboard object, I'm going to call that S. And a health bar object, I'm going to call that HB. You can name it whatever you want. What this is going to enable me to do is I'm going to say this hero, so what is defined as my local hero, is going to equal whatever is passed in our constructor for H. This scoreboard, I'm accessing this private information up here now, equals S. And this health bar, I'm getting this from this private variable, equals HB. What this is going to allow me to do is to actually recreate a world with all the other similar attributes that this world has, but only use information that's already been created previously that I'm importing from a previous source. And that is going to allow us to move information from one world to another. One more thing I have to add here, because this is a world constructor, I need for it to also construct the size of the world. So I'm just going to use the same size as before and copy and paste that down. Now, when I create a new world, I have two options. I can just create a blank new world, a baseline world. In our game, this is where the world that we create when we press play for the first time. This world that gets initially set up is this constructor being run. Every level after that, I want to run my second constructor when I'm making the world. So where is it that we should do this? Well, I need actually for this world to be aware of when it needs to move on to the next one. So I'm going to create a new method. This case, it's an act method. I want my world to be checking, are there any asteroids left? And when there aren't, change the world to our new galaxy world that has the imported information. So how do we do this? I'm going to run in a conditional a method called getObjects. And it's going to look for all objects of asteroid class. What happens with this method, and you can look it up if you want to read the documentation a bit more, is it gets what we call a list of objects of asteroid class. Every asteroid that exists will be added to this list. As asteroids are destroyed, they'll be removed from this list, meaning that when there's no asteroids left, the list will be empty. One of the easy ways that we can access this is by checking this list's size. If there's asteroids in the world, the list will have the size of the number of asteroids that exist. So that means that when there's no asteroids left, this will be equal to 0. If there are no asteroids left, is what this means. What do I want to do? Well, I want to run this method. It's a Greenfoot method called setWorld. We ran this when we pressed our play button over here. We set the world to our first galaxy. But in this case, we are going to be creating a new galaxy. But we don't want it to be this galaxy. We don't want it to be the initial constructor, the empty constructor, because that's going to reset a whole new set of attributes. It's going to reset our hero, our health, and our score to 0, as if the game was just started for the first time. Instead, I want to access this constructor where I tell it I'm importing hero data, scoreboard data, and health bar data. So what information am I going to send it? Well, the information that I have in this current world that I'm playing in, my hero, my scoreboard, and my health bar. Did I type it in the right order? Looks like I did. So when I have no asteroids left, my program will create a new world, a new galaxy, but this time, rather than create new of all of our core game mechanic objects, it's going to import the ones that already exist. Now, I still want this to run my prepare method because this is going to set up the positions of all of my elements inside this world. It's going to add my hero to that same spot it did originally. It's going to import or create new asteroids for me to battle against. It's going to add my health bar and my scoreboard to the screen. However, keep in mind that this health bar and scoreboard aren't new ones. They are the health bar and scoreboard that have kept track of all of the numbers that have gone through my game so far, and it's just adding those ones to my screen, so it should continue showing my health and score imported from my previous world for the continuity of gameplay. It looks like all my elements seem to be in place here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my game, and I'm going to see if I can, with my new superpowered weapon, show you some masterful gameplay here. Nice dodge. Wow, impressive. I'm going to track this one here. Okay, and we're going to pause here and just think what should happen here. Score of 38. I'm actually going to let myself take some damage. I never would normally. I'm too good of a player, clearly. But just for now, I'm going to take some damage where it's really clear. Let's get down to just a couple HP left. When I blow up this asteroid, what should happen? Oh, almost took some more damage there. I should keep my same score. I should keep my same health, but a new world should be created, a new level for me to play. And that should continue happening until I end up dying at some point with some total score of all the attempts that I've made. Let's see what happens here. Look at this. 3 new asteroids to fight. My health and score have remained. Let's see if I can manage to not take damage or not take 2 sets of damage here, just to see if this works again. The way that I set up the logic, it should infinitely cycle through more levels until I fully died. And there we go. I killed all the asteroids. And now I have a new level to play with. My score is kept track of. This way, my gameplay is a little bit more interesting because I can think about trying to get a high score that then I can challenge someone else to try and beat. Now, clearly with my weapon firing like this, my gameplay is a little bit too easy. Well, maybe not. I just took damage. Yeah, you could design the game any way that you want. Another way that you can consider extending the functionality is each time a new level is loaded, add an extra asteroid. So level 2 has 4, level 3 has 5. Consider having a little pop-up at the start of the level saying, welcome to level 2, welcome to level 3. If you want to add that functionality, we have all the logic figured out previously to do things like that. But it's up to you to figure out how you want to implement it in your specific game world. I don't know what level I'm at now, maybe 5 or 6. This game's a little bit too easy for my liking. I say as I die, of course. So your task is to get that functionality working to be able to actually have a custom method that's going to create new levels, continuing the same information from one level to the next. And then once that's working, to see what you can do about making your next levels more interesting. What things can you add in your new level in this particular constructor that would increase the difficulty or change the mechanics from level to level to make the game feel more challenging to go through. See what you can do with that and have fun with creating levels. In our final tutorial next time, we're going to think about including a high score list so that we can compete against one another playing through the games that we've created. All the best. As always, let me know if you need help in class.